That's actually kind of what I always thought it would sort of be like. Do you remember there was a movie called What Dreams May Come? You
Yeah.
ever seen it?
Yeah.
To me, I really always thought that that was what heaven was going to be.
Yeah.
That house that person built was his wife's painting.
Yeah.
It was their dream retirement. You had to see the movie, but it was the most awesome movie.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I have like 3 copies of that movie. But and when my ex-husband got cancer, he couldn't watch it. He was afraid. Anyways, I never believed in the devil part of it personally. Just didn't choose that. But the part that they were connected as souls, you know what I mean? Him and his wife, and it made her cry when he came near her. She could feel him. Is that kind of what you were describing? Because to me, when you did that, that was the picture that came to my mind, was that kind of movie, that kind of path. It was a connection, it was a space, and it was all created. And like the reason his kids couldn't be themselves was because they didn't think that he respected them enough to listen to them. You know what I mean? Till he got like further developed, and then they could admit that they were his children. You know what I'm?
Yeah.
It was that to me. That was the most awesome movie of what God. It didn't even show God, of what heaven and what you would create when you die was like. Is it similar to that?
And there are a lot of truths in that movie. Even the depictions of what they called the hells were actually quite true. There are actually places that look very, very similar to that in the spirit world. So it has a lot of truth. There were also, though, quite a number of errors in the movie.
Well, I mean, it was a movie.
Yeah.
Robin Williams made the movie, so I mean, you know. But I'm just saying, to me, for some reason, that struck a chord that was real. I mean, that there was something really honest about it, the way that really was.
Yeah.
And somebody said, well, that isn't what it... I said, I kind of think that would be what it would be like there. You pick your own.
Yeah. It is very similar that whatever you desire is what you create. But it has to be a pure desire, and it has to be a desire not tainted by emotions. Because it's like your desires right now are a mixture of emotions that are disharmonious with love and emotions that are harmonious with love.
Right.
You can't manufacture out of yourself the ones disharmonious with love.
Okay.
The only way to get them out of yourself is to experience them and release them. So, see, a lot of people believe from watching movies like that they can actually use their desire to create what their best picture is of what they want. And that's what they'll arrive into in the spirit world. But that's actually not the case. What the truth is that your soul condition at this moment determines where you will arrive at the spirit world.
What you believe, right?
It's not just what you believe, no. It's actually what you emotionally feel within you as well.
Well, that's what I mean. What's inside you at this space.
Yeah, but don't confuse beliefs with emotions. They are both. Beliefs are certainly emotions, but emotions aren't necessarily beliefs. To give you an idea of what I mean by that, let's say I might have a belief. I might be a Christian, right? And I have a belief that when I die, I'll be with Jesus in heaven. That's my belief, right? When I pass, that belief will not be realised. And I can guarantee it will not be realised.
Yeah.
Right? Because just because you believe it, it doesn't mean it's true. And also, let's say as a Christian, I'm also having a feeling inside of myself that every person who's not of my faith is condemned to hell by God. Let's say that's a belief I also have. Right? When I pass, I will actually find that my belief has actually created a hell for me.
I can believe that.
Right? Now, I might intellectually think all I like that I'm going to pass into heaven and be in this nice, pretty place. And I might believe that, think I believe that with all my heart at this moment. But it's not just my beliefs that create the location that I'm passing into. It's also my emotions. And if my emotions are ones of anger and resentment towards other people who are not of the same faith as me, then I have learnt very little about love.
Thank you.
And therefore, I am only going to be in a position where that amount of love exists.
thank you for a million years since I've been a kid. Since I've been, well, you know what I mean. Since I've been a kid. Everybody. I've never been a person, I've always been what I call a Ghanaian, okay, because I didn't like Christianity. I don't believe in the Bible. I never believed in whatever the Muslim things are or whatever. I don't have anything against what they choose to believe. But I always figured that God, Jesus, whatever, Buddha, whoever you want to call him, could never be a good... Anybody who was there would have to love everyone, no matter what. And would never make a judgment because you were a Christian or you believed in something. And people say, oh no, if you don't go through Jesus, you can't go. And I keep going, well, you know, then he's an egotistical jerk, and who would want to know him? It was just, and people are like really offended by that. They believe this. So I'm going, no. Jesus can't be this way. God can't be this way. God's got to be God for everybody who walks on the planet, not just one kind of people. Okay? And I want to thank you, because it is one of the questions I've had for so long. It's the reason that I said yesterday that I never did the Jesus thing, was because when you go, what the Bible does, and they don't believe in it at all. I think it was written by humans, and like all the other books, it was tainted. It was, God wouldn't think that way. God would love everyone. God would never say you have to be this for me to love you. Because God would love everybody. And Jesus never would have been, because Jesus was a Jew. So if he was one thing, then that would be the only people that you would love, or he would love, or whatever. You answered two really important questions that I really wanted to... I had in my mind, in my heart, in my whole life, I always knew it had to be a Unitarian choice, and where you were born and your family background and your culture and your country had a lot to do with how you believed. Not a book, not a space, but God would love everyone the same. Is that true?
God has a general love for everyone exactly the same. And God has a desire for you to have a personal relationship with God.
Yeah.
But the amount of love inside of your soul that exists is totally dependent upon your longing for it.
Right.
Does that make sense? So,
yeah, but I always... Okay, this is going to sound really weird because, I don't know, maybe I am talking to Jesus. But okay. I didn't mean to call you an egotistical jerk because I didn't think you believed that. I thought somebody who wrote the Bible believed that. But the thing was that if people all over the planet had as much love for God as they have for books, and people who come across and say, oh, you got to believe this, and you got to believe that, and you got to believe this, whatever country or religion they picked. Yeah. If they had as much just faith in God and said, you know, I'm going to talk to him, yeah, you wouldn't have half the problems that religion creates on this planet, you know, or the people that create it. I mean, I sort of have something against religion in itself, in the purest sense, the way that people misuse it. But I never believed that God could be like that. I always believed God had to be pure love, and God had to love everyone. Is that true?
That's fine.
Thank you! Okay, I'm a happy camper now. My little dark spirits that were going, oh please, I hope I hear that, you know, are happy now.